Hi there.
Hi, welcome to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
Today we want to know, are small eBay everything sellers doomed? Is long tail killing our business? Is high volume killing our business? You know, what's actually going on here? So yesterday,
Is there any hope for
is
the
there any
small
hope for any
seller?
of us? Are we all going to be out of business in 5 to 10 years? Am I going to be working, for some company? We're going to kind of address all those questions. So we did have a couple of questions on our video yesterday because we specifically talked about long tail is all we sell.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100% everything. We don't sell anything that's pop culture, anything that's relevant today.
It's not around us. Those things aren't available to us to even buy if we wanted to. So it's not an option. Like, it would be awesome. Everybody says, like, oh, you need to buy $50 profit and you need to only list the best of the best of the best. And like, that would be awesome if that's what we could do.
Right. So we were posed a couple of questions in our comment section. One of them, how do you have so many sales every day? We have 13,000 items in our primary store, and we have 800 listings in our secondary store. So between the two stores, we're just under 14,000 items.
That's a lot of volume.
It is a lot of listings, and we didn't get there accidentally.
No. The last year we did 50 listings a day for a year, 7 days a week. So I mean, that is a lot of listings. We've backed off a little bit now, trying to get a little more work-life balance, because we were putting up 50 listings a day every day, and that was a lot. But our business is a little different than it was a year ago. So that is the nice thing about our business, is that we can adjust as needed for where we are at the moment.
Right. So Patricia Quintana asked yesterday, but isn't the problem right now with eBay that long tail plus volume equals your items are not shown to buyers? Please share your thoughts. So yeah, that appears to be the case, but I would caution everyone to consider the fact that eBay, in addition to changing their algorithm, has also changed the way that your item views are represented.
Mm-hmm.
So the item views in the past would show all contact that a server would have with your listing. So if a person had a bot set up to kind of sort through and sift through and find those listings, that would show as a view.
Mm-hmm.
They eliminated that aspect, and now they only show you when an actual registered user has clicked on your listing. So it's definitely skewed the way that views look and appear. And then the other thing is that your views are going to be shown on a 30-day rolling rather than on since the item was created. So that also changes very dramatically what your item looks like when you're going back and you're addressing, well, what's happening with my account? What's happening with my listings? Nobody's looking at my products. If you've got a zero, if you've got something that's been listed, for 6 months, maybe it was being viewed initially, and because it's still there, the servers aren't giving it that type of preferential treatment, putting it at the top of the search queue. So that may be why now, after 6 months, you may have 12 views as someone had posed, but 0 active, and no one's actually, 12 watchers and 0 views.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, I want to talk about what we sold yesterday. Again, most of the stuff that we have here, long tail, so you'll see that represented in our items, and we can talk about exactly why it is that these items are selling, and maybe, what we can all do as a community, at least in our opinion, to generate more sales for our stores, which is really the goal. So yesterday we did 342.
It was a great day.
It was just kind of, we did have a dead period there in the afternoon yesterday, but we did have some good sales in the morning to start with, and then we rounded out the afternoon with some as well. So rather into the evening. So first thing, we've got World War II Iwo Jima photograph. These are soldiers, and they are inspecting the caves that were, Iwo Jima was completely tunneled out, where all of the Japanese military would hide. And you can imagine it was very bloody and very painstaking work that had to be done to clear the island. That item sold for $23.61. So that's going to bring me up to the first topic. That is an AP photo.
It's official U.S. Marine Corps photo,
Okay.
and this one does have the little blurb on the back, which is nice.
So first and foremost, the items that we're selling are either rare or somewhat limited in production and hard to acquire.
Mm-hmm.
So that photograph there with the department, the Marines on the back there, a lot of the photos that we have come from either the AP or the Department of Defense. So they're going to be very limited in production
Mm-hmm.
and very, very hard to acquire, other than, going directly to the Department of Defense and getting a release from them for those images. Okay, so that item there came from a collection that we were able to acquire. That's why we have it, and we're happy to send it on to the next person who will cherish it. The next thing we've got is some Cutco embroidery scissors.
These are great.
Not something we would normally buy.
No. But look at how adorable these things are. And they're in that teal color. The color was a little washed out in our camera, but it's a really pretty teal. And it's got the Cutco sleeve. This is a very rare item. It was pretty awesome. We picked this up yesterday at the auction, and I was rather excited about them. I saw them in a box with some embroidery floss, so we were able to pick those up, and Will shot them in the back of the car and posted them on eBay, and they sold before we even left the auction. It was pretty darn amazing.
Right. So that's one of those like special one of a kind type, one in a million. We will never find those again. I am certain of it. No one has that type of thing sitting in their sewing box typically. And we do look at a lot of different sewing boxes, but and again, it's not something we normally carry. We don't sell Cutco products. It sold for $131.24 after taxes and shipping. So that was a great pickup for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff that gets us to go to the next auction to look for those hidden gems. But that's not really what our business is about. Our business is more about the longer tail ephemera type items. It is nice when you can pick up those quick flips, but that's not, you can't build a business on it, at least in our community, because we're not running into that type of product all the time. It's the first time in my life I've ever seen a pair.
Yeah. And honestly, like when we were doing the research, when I found them, there was only a couple of pair on like the entire internet. So, and I mean, they were going for a good amount of money, and we priced them super competitively because we wanted them to sell because we needed it. We needed a good sale that day.
Right. So next up, we've got a Halloween postcard. A perfect time of year for this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great scene. It's got the owl sitting on the crescent moon with the pumpkin and the witches and demons. So, I mean, just amazing little card. It says Halloween in the top. And that's a tuck card. And that's from around 1910. That sold for $32.10. We've had that in our inventory for about 6 months. We did take a little bit more than half off from that, but we really wanted to move it before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of brings us into one of my other topics is that we're offering an item that is relatively rare. There was one comp on eBay. No one else has that card, but we also have the flexibility now that we can take a price change on it, so we did take more than half off because we want it to sell. If we wanted to hold on to it, we could have kept it where it was. It might sell next Halloween. I don't know. So next up we've got we got some LED lights. These are already pre-packed. Again, we store that type of item packaged. So $14.51 on some Christmas lights, the LED 10-foot strip. We've got Indianapolis 500 collector's license plate. Now, this is like a more common item, but it was from the 97th Indianapolis 500 run in 2013. So it's in an excellent, near new condition.
Yeah, it's got the official licensed product here.
follow that with a railroad coal car pin.
Oh,
This tie clasp here.
it's just a super cute little tie tack. We picked it up in a lot of other things. It's got some wear that was listed directly in the title that it does have some wear to it, but it's great because it fits into all of our little niches. You know, we've got the people that are coming specifically for the transportation, but then we've also got the people who are coming in for the jewelry. Men's jewelry is really not something very common that you find a lot of. So we find that we do pretty okay with those tie tacks and the pin backs and things like that, because there's not a whole lot of men's jewelry out there.
So next up, we've got a United Lockheed. Well, I didn't tell you, did I? 2184 on the tie clasp.
Mm-hmm.
United Lockheed airplane photo
I think this
postcard.
is a super cool one.
542 on this card. Again, we picked up an entire collection of these. So we didn't buy a single card and then try to sell it. We picked up about 40 of these airplane, helicopter type postcards in a collection. And so when we buy them at volume, and it adds that much more to what we're selling, and brings the cost down. We've got a Nebraska plate. This sold this morning, $16.44 on that. And so again, this looks like just a regular common plate, just number plate, nothing real special about it. But you got to remember, if someone's looking for a specific combination, letters, numbers, and you have it, all of a sudden that becomes special for them. That becomes a rare item, because again, to find another plate with this number combination, you're not going to.
Right.
All the plates have all different numbers across all the different states. So last thing we have is 2 pair of the BCBG jeans. And so these sold for the $15 per pair. And the person, we do have a ad running on our whole store promotion for 15% off if you buy multiple pieces. They bought 2. They bought one in the size 25 and one in size 26. So their total order was $27.90. So the next thing I kind of want to dig into is, why is it that items are long tail? Some items are just generally unpopular, but mass produced. And I don't want to dig in and really get on somebody for their specific choice of category, but there are products that albums there are some amazing albums out there, and you can do really well if you have an album store. But album sellers know that they have $3 albums because they're super common and less sought after, and then they have $300 albums. And so that's just one category where there's an entire range. So if you're looking at it and go, oh well, don't sell albums because they're long tail. Well, that may not be true, and it may only you may have to dig through and find the special ones. And that's kind of what we're finding with our store too, is that some of the items that we list, there's zero demand for. It may be overproduced. Like albums, it may be that there's no one that even knows about the topic anymore.
Yeah.
Some things that were very common and very popular at one point in time aren't. We sell World War II photographs like crazy. We can't keep them in stock. World War I photographs for us don't do well. We can sell them occasionally. Typically, we have to lot them up and sell them as a lot in order to generate interest. So that's just as an example. That's one category that we sell in, that we find World War I is a longer tail item. They do sell, but it's going to take longer to find the right person. So, what we found is that for us, unique and interesting items is really how to build the long tail business in items that are relatively rare.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. And I mean, obviously we know, again, like it would be awesome if we could only fill our store with those unique, rare unicorns that are going to give us $200 profit every time. Obviously, we can't do that. So we have to look at the whole picture. yes, when you buy those lots and there's trays of jewelry, occasionally I can get a Juliana piece, and that's amazing.
Sometimes you get gold.
Yeah, sometimes you get gold. And again, that's awesome. But obviously, we can't run our business like that. And we do have a business to run. So a lot of our items are going to be those long tail items. So what can we do to help pad things in our favor? That's really what we're looking to do.
Right. So some of the things that we look at are, we talked about in our video a couple weeks ago about, the same thing with ending and selling similar is that, the end and sell similar gives you a bump for a day, possibly two. Creating better quality listings, having price competition. Those are types of things that we find works for us in order to help drive those sales out. But one of the biggest challenges is like the eBay algorithm, the way that it's designed. We on these bell bottom pants that we've got, size 24 for us had 865 views in 30-day period,
which is absurd.
45 watchers.
We've never had numbers like that.
We sold every single pair. We had 15 pair. We sold every single one in 30 days. To begin with, the price point at $15 free ship for a pair of jeans is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely crazy. I mean, you're not going to find that anywhere. Then we sold the first pair. Okay. So then the algorithm gave us more traffic on that item.
Because it was a quantity listing. So we had like 15 or 20 pair of the same size.
Right. So every time you sell something on a quantity listing, the listing goes higher in search. It gets higher, in that top 20. And you can see if you go into your reports, it'll show you, did your item go up in listing or did it go down? If it's been sitting a long time and it hasn't sold, it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
We see that across the board on our 13,000 items is that they're constantly pushing all of our items down because there's newer, better, more engaging listings.
And most of our items are only one-offs. So like once we sell it, it's gone. We don't have an option to have quantity when it's a pair of Cutco scissors that hardly even exist in the world.
Right. So again, we are all, as small sellers, going to struggle against those big behemoth companies that have depth, that have the replenishable listings, that can just sit there. Oh, we sold 5. Let's get 5 more. Mm-hmm. Let's bump our inventory back up. And they're going to dominate the top 20 on search so long as that product's selling. So you can do the test yourself. You can type in a keyword of some type of product that you buy. We buy our 8.5 or our 9x12
rigid
folders. You look this item up, it shows that they've sold like 600 of them. It's the first listing you come to. The next one, the guy sold 60 of them. How do you compete if you only have one pack that you're trying to sell? You're going to be pushed down in the search because you haven't got the sales history on that item. It's not proven. eBay's looking for proven results. The best thing we can do, at least in my opinion, is to find things that people are looking for, items that are maybe in demand or that there's somebody looking for, but isn't a super common item.
Right. So for us, we try to specialize in those items that are more rare, hard to find, unique. So like with the photographs that we sell, there's not a whole heck of a lot of those types of photographs out there. The jewelry that we sell, I sell vintage and antique jewelry that is at least 20, 30, 40 years old. Most of the jewelry I have is mid-century modern, things like that. So that is a depleting inventory. So I don't have as many people that are vying for those spots when people are searching for vintage jewelry. So we do have the variety, which is a good thing. And so hopefully, these are some tips and tricks that you guys can also utilize. And again, we've got 13,000 listings. So That's a
Right.
big part of it
Right.
as well.
I really believe that the key to being successful with selling one-off inventory and selling long tail items is volume. Without the volume, without 13,000 listings, we wouldn't have made the sales that we made today, because I couldn't handpick through our inventory and tell you that these are the ones that would sell.
No.
It's completely random every day. We're just happy that we've got the items listed at this point so that we can continue to grow our business out.
Yep. So thank you guys so much for stopping in. Any other questions, concerns that you have, please let us know, and like, subscribe. Good luck to you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.